I just uploaded 50 of the world's best YouTube creators' frameworks into NotebookLM, and it built me a complete content strategy in about 30 seconds for free. People are paying $30 a month for tools like Poppy AI to analyze competitors, but I'm going to show you how you can do the exact same thing for free using Google's NotebookLM. And I'm talking about extracting hook patterns, script structures, thumbnail formulas directly from the channels that are actually crushing it in YouTube. I've been using this system for a month to replace my own guesswork, and today I'm going to give you the entire workflow. By the end of this video, you'll know how to import YouTube videos sources. It transcribes them automatically. Extract repeatable frameworks for hooks, scripts, titles, and thumbnails. Create an AI podcast that you can literally interrupt and ask questions. Generate thumbnail concepts using Gemini integration, and build custom gems you can share with your team or use as lead magnets. And stick around to the end because I'll show you how to turn this into a shareable gem that you can use as a lead magnet or for client work. It's actually genius. All right, let's do this. So first up, you just want to go over to notebooklm.google, and they do have a really solid free plan. So just try that to start with, and you just hit try NotebookLM. And we just want to do a new notebook here. You have a couple of options here. So you can either do web search, which is powered by Google Search, and we could get deep research or fast research. You can upload files and folders from your Google Drive, paste in text, or link to websites and YouTube videos, which is exactly what we're going to do today. All right, so we've got a whole bunch of YouTube creators here, and I'm just going to drop all of those videos relating to creating good content on YouTube in here, and they're just going to be transcribed now and added to this notebook. And so you can see almost instantly, we've got 15 sources here. So let's call this YouTube growth. Okay. And now in your notebooks, what you can do is set a custom prompt here to configure the chat. So we're going to hit custom, and I'm actually going to jump into Claude and reverse engineer this prompt. Can you help me create a custom system prompt for NotebookLM? The purpose of the notebook, it's got a whole bunch of YouTube creators and their tactics on scripting, hooks, and like thumbnails. So the notebook needs to kind of extract those to help me grow my YouTube channel, provide frameworks and guidance. All right, sweet. This will do. So just copy this and paste it in here. And so you get 10,000 characters here. So you can make this pretty like in depth if you want, and we'll just go default for the length. And in a minute, I'll show you how you can turn this into an interactive podcast that you can literally interrupt on your walk and just ask questions. So now what we want to do, and I got this from Vanessa Lau because I saw her using Poppy AI to come up with scripts, hooks, and thumbnails. And I was like, actually, you could do that in Notebook for free. So I'm going to say in here, can you analyze repeatable? First, we'll go hook frameworks, and we'll just say the sources. And so you can save this as a note here, and it will generate this note. Then we can convert that to a source, and it will be added down here. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do with that later. All right. Can you analyze and create a repeatable scripting framework? And I'll take that one because we don't need that hook framework in this. And so the point of doing this is to find some really good sources that you like, creators you value, and it will just take these transcripts and turn it into something that we can actually use for our own content creation. And so you can see here, these are really good, the Trust Ladder framework. And because in the system prompt, I've kind of given it that context of what I'm doing, AI education, it's looking at it through that lens, which is super helpful. And so we'll save this as a note, and we will convert that to a source, And so you can see here too, you can export this as a Google Doc or Sheets as well. Like NotebookLM is such an underrated tool. And because it is part of the Google ecosystem, if you are a Google user, this just embeds so nicely with all of your the stuff that you're already using anyways. So we've got hooks, scripts, let's go titles. That's done. We'll save that as a note and convert to source. Sweet. And the last one is thumbnails. Create a repeatable. And I'll just uncheck these sources that we've just created. And the really cool thing about NotebookLM too is you could have a whole bunch of sources here, and then you can just select and deselect the ones that are maybe not relevant to that question or the framework that you're trying to create. And we'll add that as a source here. And I'm just going to deselect the sources now. And let's just do, this is for our thumbnails, right? And then we can go over here and create an infographic. So let's say concise and just say, can you make a infographic with bright colors using the source to better explain and understand how to create YouTube thumbnails? And that will just create over here. You can also do slide decks, flashcards, mind map, a video overview, or audio overview. And so with the audio overview, if we select all of these and then we get it to create, it's like an interactive podcast. So let's do a deep dive and we'll say, focus on what a new YouTube creator needs to focus on in those 4 elements. So a script, hook, title, and thumbnail. And we'll make it short and that'll generate there. And I'll show you what that looks like shortly. Okay, so now that we've got our sources documents made here, and I'll leave these open like the other sources selected for now. But let's say I'm going to make a YouTube video on using NotebookLM to help with YouTube scripting, hooks, titles, and thumbnails. I've imported all of these sources as reference material. Can you help me come up with a title and a hook for this video? All right. So here you can see it's using the frameworks from the creators that I have added in here, like Callaway. So the first one is stop using ChatGPT for scripts, use this instead. I fed 50 viral scripts into NotebookLM. Here's what happened. And then write better hooks in 5 minutes without burning out. And then the hooks here. So these are actually really useful. And to be honest with you, I think I'm going to go with this one because I know that NotebookLM has like high search intent at the moment too. All right. And then jumping back over here, let's see. Okay, great. So this has created this fun breakdown for us. So how to create thumbnails that work. Break the visual pattern, don't repeat the title, follow the 3-element rule, and use the 2-second flash test. This is super helpful, especially if you're a visual learner. So I can look at every thumbnail now through this lens with this infographic to just refer back to. And this is powered by Google's Nano Banana Pro. So these are really cool. The other thing I will say is when you're creating infographics, keep the sources small. Otherwise, it's just going to try and pull from too much information and the infographic just won't be as. And yeah, let's ask this. What are the best power words for AI education titles? And what else we could do over here is say we wanted some more sources. Like I could say, can you go and research YouTube growth tactics for 2026? I would say specific to AI education channels here. And it'll go out and do some deep research and bring back a report for us. Okay, and so this is really interesting. So here it's got, because my channel is anti-hype, so that was included in our system prompt, remember, and it targets neurodivergent entrepreneurs. So I, want to avoid the bro marketing tactics like explosive or banned, and I need to use words that signal relief, clarity, and efficiency. So let's see what it has come up with. Yeah, so stop treating ChatGPT like Google, the prompting mistake that is wasting your time. Yeah, sweet. All right. And so what I'm going to do now, so remember I said this was the one that I was thinking about, right? So now I'm going to say, can you review this title through lens of like what we've just kind of walked through? Okay, so it's saying it's a strong B+, and it uses the outlier effort framework. The weaknesses, here is what happened. Okay, so it's an interest loop. That's really interesting because in the sources it said that I should be aiming for desire loop. Okay, and so here's the suggested ones. It found a pattern, stop using ChatGPT to build the perfect template. Yeah, cool. I think the one that I would actually use here is this one. So while this is now doing the deep research, which we'll come back to, let's ask it. I'm actually going to say, should we say, like, have some more context? So should we? Okay, so this is good. This is why we do that stuff, right? So it's like, that's going to be too long. Yeah, sweet. And so this is what I'm after. Like, okay, so what should the use thumbnail be? Yeah. Can you give me? All right. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just choose the thumbnail source that we added, and I'll use that video too. So now I just want to like really refine it. I don't want it to draw from all of the sources that are talking about scripts or hooks. We just want to really focus on thumbnails. So let's see here. And what I'm going to do is after I record this, I'm actually going to drop the transcript into here and say, can you give me, like, based on this video, I'm going to record an intro and hook based on what's in the transcript. Can you create a hook for me? So I'm basically reverse engineering that on what I'm already recording, and then just like tighten up the intro and use these best practices. Can you give me 3 prompts I can use for variations? Cool. All right. I'm going to leave them there for a second, and then I'm going to show you soon how we can use those. So over here, scrolling back up, deep research has been completed. And so it has pulled all of these sources for me, basically just going through, YouTube strategy for 2026. So I can go through now and review these. Any that I'm like, that's not really aligned, like this one, I can just unclick that, or I can select all. So I can import these here, or you might like to make another notebook, have a play around with that. And then, the ones that if you find, that's like, I'm happy with that, you could import them here, or you can just import it. And then if you find that you've actually overloaded it, there's too many sources, too many different opinions, you would just deselect all of these, and that would kind of take you back to this base level that you've got. And so our podcast, and so what's really cool about these too is that I can just interrupt these hosts at any time and be like, okay, hey, I'm creating a YouTube video on NotebookLM and how to use it to use scripts, to write scripts, hooks, thumbnails, and titles. What would be a really good title for this video? All right, so you can see that's really cool. And you could download NotebookLM on your phone and listen to this podcast and be out on a walk and just interacting with getting ideas. That is such an underrated use case of NotebookLM. I want to show you so we've got these prompts here, right, for the thumbnails. So I've got my title. I'm going to drop the transcript in after I finish this video to get that intro and hook dialed in. Okay. And so what we need now is a thumbnail. So let's grab this first one. And then we're going to jump into Gemini here. And I'm going to say, create a, and then I'm going to attach a photo of me. So that's pretty good for a first go. Let's try the second prompt. Okay, that's actually not bad. Maybe too much white space. So please move to the left side of the image. And while it does that, I'm going to grab this final prompt and I'm going to show you a hack that you can do here in Google Gemini. So you can actually attach your notebooks now. So we can attach our YouTube growth over here. Upload that photo of me again. And I'm going to say, review your notebook source for best practice. Cool. So it's done that now. So I've got that one. I've got this one. And we'll see how it goes with this last one with the notebook attached. Okay, that's interesting. So it's saying invalid URL. So let's try it again and remove this notebook and see if that helps. Okay, so that one has just completely lost the plot, which is interesting. It's good to show you this stuff to show you that it doesn't always work. If we import this notebook though, let me show you what you can do in here. Okay, I am coming up with a YouTube script. The next video on my YouTube channel will be about becoming a power user of ChatGPT in 2026. Can you help me with the script structure and also title options and hooks? And so you can see here now it's pulled in this notebook, and this is really cool because it becomes collaborative. So in NotebookLM, you're only chatting with the sources. So over here, it's going to give you references to the sources that it is referring to. But if we bring it into Gemini, it's going to refer to that. So it's showing you where those sources live, but it also has that deeper kind of access to Google Gemini as well. So if you do want to broaden that scope. And then what you can also do, so let's just see what it's come up with first. All right, so titles, trust lab. Yeah, cool. All right, that's pretty good. Now this next part, turning this into a shareable gem, is amazing. You can turn this into a lead magnet, use it for client work. We jump over here to gems, which I will do a full video on how to create gems. But now you can create a new gem, and let's say YouTube growth helps me grow my YouTube. And then, so you can put a big system prompt in here like we did from Claude. So in fact, I'm just going to grab that. This will be our system prompt. Drop that into the gem. And we can then add here our NotebookLM and then just hit save. And here you can pick your default tool here. So we could have a YouTube thumbnail creator with a solid system prompt, and the notebook is just all of those thumbnail sources for best practices. And then the default tool here could be Nano Banana. We'll just leave it and we'll hit start chat, and we can now chat with this, and we can also share this. So if you want to use these as lead magnets for, your offers, you could share this, and you can just hit share and you'll get a share link. You could, if you have a team and you're all working on something together, you could share this around the team. So if you're creating content for clients, it's all aligned. This could have brand voice and all sorts of things in there. So there's so much you can do with gems and NotebookLM combined. As I said, I will do a full video on how to create custom gems and what you can do with them. But I hope that was helpful. And if you want to learn more creative ways to use AI, I will drop the link to my membership below. You can also watch the next video, which is other ways that I use NotebookLM for creating interactive case studies. And I will see you on the next video.